Hey everybody, just give you a little update on this Stihl MS361 here. Yeah, I got me a Meteor piston I got in it right here. Reason why is because a little scoring on this intake side a little bit. You can feel it. I cleaned the jug up a bit. It's okay. Use a pretty good jug. It's a Molly, so go with that. I'm gonna have to split the case, put bearings in it. Seals are shot. There's like absolutely no seal pressure. So that could have led to some of that scoring on that piston. I know a couple of the cylinder bolts were loose too. I'm going to go with this OEM gasket kit. Go from there. But interestingly, the timing numbers on this has, with this piston, 71 degrees on the intake, exhaust 102, 22,000 squish, and an upper transfers crack about, was 131? Yeah, 131 a crack. It's a little bit much, but wonders to have something to do with the way this is cut out. It's possible. It's my buddy's saw. He just wants me to get it running for him. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. Like I said, I just did a little texture on this intake. It's kind of the texture I do with them diamond bits. Yep. So, interesting. The way I build saws is they're not RPM screamers, but what they do is they cut pretty quick in the wood. It's kind of the saws that I like to build. It's like they operate like my first saw, my Craftsman at 46cc. I think it's I don't know if it's a variant of a Husqvarna or a Poland. I'm not really 100% sure on it, but that thing runs very good. I should get that saw out and run it a little bit. Like I said, that saw, doesn't scream in the wood, but it cuts pretty quick. That always pretty much outcut everybody's saw. Whenever I had to cut stuff, I mean, I'm not saying like 70cc saws, but 50s and stuff like that. Most of your 50cc, so that thing will outcut. And that's kind of the way I build my saws to run that way. Kind of like this MS660 here. Doesn't scream, but it sure cuts pretty good. You can dog in and she just keeps on a chugging away. Like if I have an 8-inch piece of maple, maybe 10-inch piece, I like to aim for anywhere from 2 to 4 seconds. That's roughly right where I like to have my cuts timed. Yep, just the way I build my saws. It's 372. My thoughts on this thing, I think there's quite a number of issues. It could be the case where the coil mounts, it may not be in the right position. It's almost because I could never ever get this saw to run properly, full throttle. I've had three or four different cylinders on there. I've tried different. It just doesn't run right. Now I don't know. It's weird now, but I'm thinking. I don't know if I'm going to get a hold of one of those blue saws that run, try it, see how it runs, and try to match some, things up. Because I think the crank slot's different. That's a highway crank in there, and I know they are different. Flywheel. Like I said, there's been a few people that have had trouble with these kit saws, and they say they just can't get them to run right. And I want to dive into it pretty deep and figure out what's going on. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm a mechanic, and how I can fix anything, transmissions, motor, anything. It's just these chainsaws, I'll tell you what, they're interesting. A little more complex than you think. You know, I mean, they may be simple to work on, but when you start messing with ports, you start messing with timing, it can get kind of complicated. So, yeah. Yeah, just a little chit chat on that. He gave me, guy who owns this saw, he gave me a couple of these weed whackers. I gotta try to fix them. I had that white one running. Diaphragms are bad in the carburetor. Getting carb kits for all these, and have some decent weed whackers for up to camp. So, yep. That's that little 142 Husqvarna. I should do a little cutting video on it. That thing runs pretty good. I just did a muffler mod, mild port job to it. Nothing crazy. Kind of like what you see going on here. I'll tell you what, I think it ran pretty good. Textured up ports, and for what that little saw is, I think he runs real good. Yep. So yeah, just little thoughts on that. Okay guys, next time, keep feeling the heat.